How's it going, everybody? January 10th. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me. There's a lot that I want to go through this morning, quite a bit that I want to share with you. So I'm going to move quick. I don't necessarily want this video to drag on. But before I do all of that, there's some things that I need to get off my chest. And the past couple days have been crazy with the amount of trolls, disinformation agents I've seen, and there's just negativity everywhere. And there's some things I need to say about that. And that is, we're all on the same team. Aside from some of the disinformation agents, I'm sure, that are plants, but all of us at least trying to honestly share the truth, we're all on the same team. Regardless of our backgrounds, regardless of the small differences we have in perspective and the different leans we might have, we all have the same goal. And that is to end corruption and get this evil off of our planet, right? So all of this little petty division that's being thrown around, it doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. And if you see somebody commenting on Twitter or on Facebook or on YouTube or wherever it is, don't automatically assume the hateful shit that they're spreading is true, right? Just cast it away. Again, like we always say, go research for yourself. If something is being said about somebody, go actually look at that person's work and see who they are, how authentic they actually are. Because I feel so bad for all this shade being thrown around at everybody, because it's really affecting them. And there's been a shitload of shade thrown at myself over the past couple of days as well. I've been called parasitic, talentless, childish. I've been told that I'm in a cult. I've been told that I'm into some satanic shit and basically trying to put myself on this informational hierarchy above everything else. Am I parasitic? Am I talentless? No, there's some things I'm pretty good at. Am I childish? Hardly. Definitely not in a cult or involved in any satanic shit. So it's just absolutely ridiculous. You know, whatever the case is for these people throwing around all this disinformation out there, whether it's purposeful or they're jealous or their ego is just getting to them, you know, it's pathetic, really. And I can't speak for necessarily others, but as for myself, you know, definitely not any of those things that I've been called. I'm not trying to put myself on top of any hierarchy, right? I absolutely respect the work of others. That's why I take all these tabs and I link them below every video. And I I tell you guys, go research for yourself. Especially when it comes to Q. I'm like, go look at the Q post yourself, man. Make your own connections. I don't try to tell people what to think. The goal of all this I ever try and do is to try to tell people how to think. Okay? That's really how we're going to get out of this. And, you know, in regards to a couple of the other trashing thoughts that have been thrown around, you know, a lot of people are being called out for trying to be money hoarders or self-promoters. And I do have a couple thoughts on that. Again, I don't want this to drag on, but there's a few things I just want to discuss right here. I'll talk about it more in the future. But am I trying to get money? Well, this might surprise you, but yeah, I am. Although, let me clarify, okay? I've got bills to pay. I've got mouths to feed. I've made truth sharing my literal work, career, job, vocation, if you will. But here's the thing. I'm not saying that I have any special magical information or insider connections or anything like that, right? I'm trying to make Federal Reserve notes as honorably as I can. I'm not putting any of this information that I share behind any paywalls. Okay? Everything I do is open source. YouTube videos, articles, blog posts, social media posts, it's all open sourced, right? If you want to donate to my PayPal or my Patreon, great, thank you. If you want to buy my webinars or, you know, check out the paid stuff that I do, ebooks, whatnot, thank you. But again, I'm not telling you that I have any magical stuff in my webinars that you can't find for free on the internet. All I do is package it neatly for you, right? So if you want to buy the stuff, I'm like, great, thanks for supporting me. I'm going to do some damn good work for you, and I appreciate that. But you don't have to. I'm not telling people, oh, the only way you're going to get this information is by donating me or buying this stuff. Absolutely not. I'm all for open source everything, okay? And in regards to self-promotion, do I self-promote? Hell yeah, I self-promote, right? Everybody should be self-promoting. We want to get these messages out to the masses. And that's what I notice a lot of people looking at me don't understand is I'm hitting a specific niche. And they don't get that niche that I'm hitting, but I'm going for lots of people. That's why I jump around to so many different topics. I talk about vaccines, GMOs, chemtrails, free energy, this Q stuff, pedogate, everything. So I'm trying to get all these messages out to everybody. But again, with this promotion, I'm not telling people that I'm any better than anybody else. I'm not telling people that I have some magic information or some, special stuff that makes me better. So I'm not going to promote myself above other people, okay? And when I do promote myself, I'm going to try to take everybody that's doing good work along with me as well. I absolutely give props to people that deserve the props. So that's just a bunch of stuff that I wanted to get off my chest. Thank you guys for listening to that. And man, these trolls, these disinfo agents, these people that are just jealous and negative, I wish they would realize they're really not doing any good to anybody. And they're holding themselves back. I mean, worrying so much about me and other people, they're really just holding themselves back. I want them to understand. It's not, maybe that's why their brands or their message isn't taken off, because they're worrying so much about other people. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Q. So there's been no new Q posts, but again, there's some things that I want to discuss. There's been quite a bit of drama regarding Q the past couple days, so taking a little bit of a back step from everything really, because of all the drama. But just the things that I want to note in regards to Q. Yes, Q did make a new board that he's going to be posting all of his future drops on, and that's this Great Awakening board on 8chan. And if you want to go through all the previous ones that's been posted over the past 3 months now, a little over 3 months, you can again reference this website right here. So I will post the links to both of these down below. But to note, there is also a new research board, right? There's a new research board where the community is coming together to do the digging and post their information on. I will not be posting that below this board, nor publicly. Some people might disagree with that. But in my personal opinion, there's multiple reasons why I don't think we should be publicly posting that research board. A, we don't want to be flooding a bunch of people into 8chan and these research boards that don't understand the etiquette or don't really understand what's going on. And we don't want to, there's already plenty of good researchers in there. Some people might say, oh, we need as many boots on the ground as possible. There's already a bunch of great people doing the dirty work, doing the legwork in there. I don't think we need to mess with that. And also, some people flooding into 8chan and looking at the posts, they might be a little triggered. There's a lot of four-letter words and colorful language being thrown around in there. There's also a lot of very heavy red pills. Some people might not even be ready for it. They might go into the 8chan and be like, oh my God, or just be kind of shocked by some of the stuff being thrown around in there. So I just don't think it's wise, right? We're playing chess, not checkers, folks. We're playing some serious higher dimensional chess. So just don't think it's wise to be posting that research link, my opinion, there though. So there's that I just wanted to say in regards to Q. And also a couple other things in regards to Q. It seems as if this QAnon phenomenon is now seriously being looked at by mainstream, and they're just waiting to run their hit pieces on it. This one comes by way of Media Matters that was posted yesterday. Sean Hannity wades into message board conspiracy theory, The Storm. And I actually wasn't aware of this, but Sean Hannity retweeted this tweet right here that actually had a hashtag for QAnon in it. And David Brock's Media Matters special just waited. They were waiting to run this story on QAnon. So be careful, guys. This is going to seriously start ramping up, and not only with the trolls at the grassroots level, like you might notice in YouTube comments and Twitter posts and Chan posts and whatnot, but we're going to start seriously getting some mainstream trolling with all of this. Not only did we find it on Media Matters, but the Daily Dot took the SpaceX launch and the information regarding that, and then connected that to QAnon and tried to run their hit pieces and put up all the Twitter posts, and went into a bit longer of a spiel, but they called it Beyond Pizzagate, and really just trying to put their shit-spinning story on that. But hey, I mean, on one hand, any publicity is good publicity. This will get more eyes on it. But at the same time, this is a chess game. So there's information that we don't want getting out there to the mainstream quite yet, right? It was probably foolish for Alex Jones to be talking about QAnon on his channel, because then that just gave the mainstream a very easy avenue to begin attacking it. So again, be careful, guys. Be careful with how you share this information and what you do with it, right? And but moving on, that's enough of Q that we're really going to discuss. Let's talk about WikiLeaks. So another person connected to WikiLeaks has died. His name was James Dolan. He was a developer for WikiLeaks. He died in what was claimed to be a suicide. But of course, anytime I hear the word suicide, there's always some extra thinking going on, some head scratching going on behind that. But just awful that, very young, 36, to be committing suicide. And of course, the first death connected to WikiLeaks, Aaron Swartz, was said again to also have committed suicide at the age of 26. So condolences there. And I just wonder what the backstory behind that is. And speaking of WikiLeaks, this post on the Gateway Pundit yesterday was saying they alleged, confirmed claims that Assange has left Ecuadorian embassy are false. So, of course, there was a lot of different theories going out there. People said that Assange might have been in Switzerland. Some other stories were that Assange was on a Navy vessel or some kind of ship, potentially, because of the odd occurrences with the WikiLeaks Twitter and the Navy Twitter pages retweeting from Assange and WikiLeaks and all of that, that we covered. So those were some theories, some ideas being thrown out there. But now this article by the Gateway Pundit is saying, nope, he's still in the Ecuadorian embassy. So, again, guys, we live in the age of spin. The age of spin. And you can't automatically latch on to anything these days. Literally anything. Whether it's, like I mentioned earlier, somebody talking some shit about somebody, or whether you see some speculative theories being thrown out there, don't attach to it. Back in your mind, but don't get emotionally reacted to it. You might want to really believe it. You might want to really not believe it. Don't get emotionally reacted to it. That'll shut down the critical thinking centers of your brain, but just keep it there. Keep it there as, data, as unconfirmed data, that as you get more data in, then you can gauge whether or not it's legitimate or not. So the jury is kind of out there as to where Assange is, but I wanted to share this with you guys. And then here's a big piece of news about yesterday. So there were 74 people missing from the roll call in the House of Representatives yesterday. 74 people missing. Now, some say, okay, that's normal in the year following a presidency change, yada, yada. But I'm going to point you towards, and there's actually some interesting names in this one. I can't zoom in on this so you can't see, but Wasserman Schultz is one of them. Was that Ryan? Is that Paul Ryan? Some other interesting names in there, and 74 people. It's quite a bit. But again, in regards to, okay, is that normal? Is that not normal? We're going to go to this piece of data here from the Twitter handle B. This Twitter page posts some quality stuff, in my opinion. But they said, or she said, excuse me, previous years missing from the first week of the year. So she actually ran that data, cross-checking if this is normal or not. And back in 2015, 33 people were missing in the first week of the year. 2016 had 37. 2017 only had 1. And this year, 74. So that's over double of what we've ever seen in the past. And that was some good cross-checking by B, and it goes to show you that this is not normal. So I'm curious as to how this factors in with said indictments, with, all the other questionable events that we have going on. So keep that in mind. I wonder who's going to show up in future weeks and who's not going to show up. And let's have eyes on who doesn't show up. We're going to go through some articles by True Pundit here. Payback. Trump lawyer sues BuzzFeed News. That's great. I really don't like BuzzFeed. And you shouldn't either. For publishing the live-filled Trump dossier. So we got Michael Cohen tweeting his announcement yesterday. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. If you remember, that was also said. Where was it? December 23rd, enough is enough. So that's an interesting little connection there. But he's just saying enough and enough of the fake Russian dossier. Now defamation action is being used against mainstream media. Happy for that. Trump's quiet shakeup at the DoD reorganizes Cyber Command and preps for a new NSA chief. So I'm going to link this article down below. You can read a little bit more about that. Again, I want to run through these articles because there's still a lot of stuff I want to share with you guys. FBI agents said that we didn't see any video footage of Paddock taking guns to the Mandalay Bay suite. So still a lot of questions regarding that Las Vegas mass shooting. And Thomas Paine, who heads True Pundit, on his Twitter page saying, makes sense. This is a story of good FBI versus bad FBI. And in every intel agency, guys, you direct knowledge of the FBI probe into the Las Vegas shooting said that they haven't seen any surveillance video showing the gunman bringing the guns up to the hotel suite. So still a lot of questions going on, and there's a lot of other contradictions of the story in this article. Good article to read if you want to check out the contradictions that's laid in there. James O'Keefe yesterday tweeted, so James O'Keefe is the head of Project Veritas, who have been doing good reports, taking down the mainstream media. They've done an expose on CNN, one on the Washington Post. This one, that we'll talk in a sec, came out just this morning. Yesterday, James O'Keefe warns of a breaking report coming tomorrow, which is today, in a cryptic tweet, and that led us to this. So today's expose was against Twitter, and a senior network security engineer was caught on hidden camera. I think their hidden camera exposés are pretty funny. But it basically reveals Twitter's readiness to give up Trump's private DMs to the DOJ. So, ironically, James O'Keefe tweeting this expose against Twitter, on Twitter. But this engineer was saying that, yeah, we'll just give any DMs we've got to the DOJ if we can. So, wonder what fallout's going to come by way of this. And funny enough, I saw the people at Gab were loving this expose. So I'll probably be getting on Gab very shortly here. And some other alternative mediums as well. Of course, we want to get off all cabal-controlled mediums. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Just unfortunately, they're the ones that get the subsidies, they get the contracts, they get the money from the cabal. So Twitter and Facebook are just easy mediums to use because everybody's using it. But yes, time to migrate off. Let's see here. Let's move on to other news. Zero Hedge reporting here. Former Idaho State representative commits suicide after sexual assault allegations. So, a state legislator out of Idaho has died and killed himself basically because he was being investigated over sexual misconduct and sex assault. This involved underage, basically involved children. So, awful story there, but I don't think this is the last we're going to see of events like this. It's just very sad, but, these people have some kind of, obviously some kind of issue, some kind of tension within them, and some demons that they seriously can't get over, and they take their own life, which is awfully sad. If you don't remember, this actually happened again with a Kentucky lawmaker back in mid-December, just a few weeks ago. He took his life as well after he was accused of sexually assaulting a teenage girl. So, speaking of which, this is, where is it? Right. We'll get into this in a sec. I actually want to talk about Harvey Weinstein really quick, because there's some preaching I'm going to do. So Harvey Weinstein was actually attacked at a Scottsdale restaurant just last night. There was a drunk guy that tried swinging on him. It's the basics of the story there. So here's what I want to say in regards to, these people unfortunately killing themselves and this guy swinging on Harvey Weinstein. There's a lot of, and I actually tweeted this just a few minutes ago, if you do follow me on Twitter, there's a lot of forgiveness that we're going to have for these people. We can't go running around with Molotov cocktails and screaming violence and screaming death to the cabal for these things. Because as the deeper disclosures start coming out, people are just going to get more pissed off and more pissed off. And all of that anger, rightly so. I'm not saying the anger is not right to have. But what I'm saying is the outlash of the anger. If you're trying to, cause violence to other people, it's just not going to get us anywhere. And we can avoid situations like this. I'm not saying his actions of sex assault were good by any means. He absolutely deserves to be, put in prison for a long time. But it's sad to see people take their own lives. And if we just have that forgiveness, like I was talking about, we can avoid tragic events like this. So that's just the quick preaching that I wanted to do there. Another news story, again on Zero Hedge. A lot of True Pundit and Zero Hedge in this one, but I like those news outlets. The FBI indicted a Democratic state senator out of Maryland because he confessed to taking cash payments and taking trips to Vegas. So I'm curious to see if this was one of those sealed indictments that was unsealed. Don't know, but the swamp continues to drain. I like that. A state senator outed for taking cash payments and Vegas trips. And more news from around the area. This one, let's see here. There was a bust that I saw. Let me bring it up here. Cleveland police arrested 10 men in human trafficking raids. Let's see. There was quite a few human trafficking arrests over the past day or two from around the country, which is good. Also from around the world, we had 160 mobsters arrested in Italy and Germany, and over $60 million in assets were seized. So again, this storm, global storm, is moving. It's moving along. I know we want mass events with huge names now. I do think we're still going to see that, but with how much this darkness has infected society, infiltrated into society, there's just a lot. There's a lot of cleaning up that we need to do. And this was a funny article that I saw in the National Post. This was referencing Israeli television broadcasting just the other day a 2015 recording in which Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's son is heard asking for money to pay a stripper. So his son Yair Netnatu, was recorded asking for money to pay a stripper, and he said, "Bro, my dad arranged a $20 billion deal, and you can't spot me 400 shekels for the stripper." Classic. But Israeli television kind of putting a little heat on Netanyahu. So, I don't know too much of the deeper story behind this, but hopefully some of Israel's own sweeping will occur. Corruption sweeping happened there. I do hope. Let's talk about SpaceX for a sec here. So I'm still seeing a lot of contradicting stories regarding what happened with SpaceX. So right here, ABC News, let me zoom in here so you can see. ABC News is saying that classified satellite fell into the ocean after SpaceX launch. NBC asking, did SpaceX lose that secret satellite? On space.com, they're reporting SpaceX saying the Falcon 9 rocket performed as expected. So is it lost? Is it not? Is SpaceX saying, oh, the Falcon 9 rocket was good, but specifically not saying anything about the classified satellite? Well, again, it's classified. Are they allowed to say anything about it? But with all this speculation going on, if the satellite was downed, I saw one news story that said the satellite had crashed into the Indian Ocean. Is that a cover story? Of course, because if this was a classified satellite, maybe doing some things that the public wouldn't be too happy about, they would want the public to think that it crashed into the ocean, right? It's not up there. Now that satellite that was doing surveillance stuff that you probably wouldn't be happy about, you see what I'm saying? So is it a cover story? Did it actually crash? Looks like the jury is still out regarding what happened to that Zuma satellite. Piece of news, magnitude 7.6 earthquake struck off the coast of Honduras. I remember seeing the tsunami warning last night. Glad that there wasn't a tsunami that manifested, but I don't think this is the end of earthquakes we'll see around the globe. Again, there's a lot of earth changes going on. I'm going to talk about some interesting glowing NASA clouds in a sec, but as you can see here, there was 2 magnitude 5+ earthquakes that struck yesterday. Before that 7+ earthquake, I saw that this might have been downgraded to a 6.6, but regardless, it was a big one. So we had quite a few earthquakes yesterday, and we also have a coronal hole stream from the sun, so a stream of highly energized particles coming our way this weekend. So this earthquake watch won't go away. Still a lot of tension going on, tension on our planet, and in the big grand scheme of things, we are going to be expecting more earthquakes to occur because of the earth changes, not just earth changes, galactic changes that are going on. Our whole solar system moving into a more energetic region of space. It's going to be a lot of changes, folks, a lot of very big changes. One of the pieces of evidence of those changes we're seeing is noctilucent clouds. I've mentioned this in some of the webinars I've done and some previous videos, but noctilucent clouds are glowing clouds that are seen over the poles, North and South Pole. This article right here was posted 2 days ago, and it was about a NASA spacecraft detecting these blue clouds. But some information on these noctilucent clouds. Noctilucent means night shining in Latin because they glow. They're glowing clouds they're amazing, actually. I've seen them with my own eyes. They're clouds that glow at night, and they've been going on for quite a while. But what's interesting is that in the last couple of years, these noctilucent clouds are being seen farther and farther away from the poles. So in North America here, I saw them in Washington State, which is quite a bit away from the poles. And other people have said they've seen them in as far south as Kentucky and places like that. So seeing these noctilucent clouds farther and farther away from the poles is interesting. It's unexplained. And also what's unexplained are these noctilucent clouds, period. Because another another piece of data that's unexplained by mainstream science is how these clouds glow and how they're so high. So these clouds are miles and miles high. I believe there's some like 40 and 50 miles high in the atmosphere, which is about 10 times higher than cirrus clouds. The cirrus wispy clouds. I'm not talking about the geoengineering trails that get wispy that are left from the planes, but I'm talking about the actual cirrus clouds, right? Those are very high up. I think about 4 to 5 miles high. Noctilucent clouds are 40 to 50 miles high. So it's unexplained by mainstream science, A, how these clouds get so high, and B, why are they getting so prevalent on our planet? But again, if you study the electric universe theory, this is evidence of that. And also with the changes occurring with the electromagnetic nature of our reality here, the electric nature, the energetic nature of our reality here, this is just a piece of evidence that's showing you that we are in for some serious changes with noctilucent clouds, earthquakes, literal changes in the laws of physics. The laws of physics that mainstream science still doesn't understand. They're trying to. Not quite yet, though. But yeah, this is just really interesting. Noctilucent clouds. And last couple things. Thanks for spending a half an hour with me, guys. I appreciate all that. A lot of stuff I'm covering with this one, I know. But last couple things I want to share with you. Space.com is running... I mean, this whole UFO disclosure coming out of the Pentagon, you know, that the New York Times ran a couple weeks ago. Excuse me here. I'm going to make sure I take a drink, not with the mic at my face, so it just sounds gross. Hold on. Ugh. Anyway, they're still reporting on this UFO program. So Space.com yesterday says, UFO legacy, what impact will revelation of secret government program have? Right? So they're just still trying to keep it in the back of our minds, of course, in case they need a distraction. And a point there being, you know, UFOs themselves aren't a distraction. It's what's coming out of the mainstream now that's the distraction. Want to make a quick point there. As I see a lot of, you know, it's amazing, right? Again, we all have our own pieces to the puzzle. A lot of the pieces that interest me that I want to bring to the public involve the topic of free energy devices, true science of physics, and the secret space program and the ET issue, right? A lot of other people still don't understand those, but they have a lot of other pieces of information that I might not have, right? Whether it's the political corruption or on the pedogate issue or even QAnon stuff. There's a lot of different pieces we have. It's all about bringing them together. So just want to make a note here that it's still, this is actually a very long article. A couple of the things I'm like, okay, I agree with that. You know, they're talking about the advanced technology, yada, yada, but there's still a lot of stuff. It's more telling as to what they're not saying than what they are. And, you know, that's why I'll be doing lots of videos and webinars and all that stuff, talking about these things. This is crucial to understand. And on that note, you know, this is on the, I know this is going to make the trolls give me a few downvotes, but this is on the, what I'm going to call the Great Deception, right? Because there's this thought, there's this meme out there that that aliens aren't actually from space and they're not beings at all, they're demons. All of them are demons, right? And all these aliens are demons that are here to lie to us and to deceive us, right? Yeah, double deception, somebody says. So I'm calling it the Great Deception. And there's this documentary that I just became aware of yesterday, and it's called Alien Intrusion, Unmasking a Deception. And it's coming out in late February, and as you can see here, it's actually made by a bunch of essentially born-again Christians, a bunch of religious folk that are very heavily invested in the dogma. And I'm not saying that there aren't truths in the Bible, but the thing about religious scripture is that it's almost phrased like the Q post, right? There's metaphors within metaphors, and there's such depth to it. and it's spoken in parables, right? And many people take it far too literally. And they're also getting caught up in this whole psyop here. Whether whether these guys are doing it purposefully or they're honestly missing some pieces of the puzzle, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on that here. But, this is a very crucial thing to note is that no, all aliens aren't demons. There's some positive ones out there that are trying to assist humanity. Granted, yes, there's plenty of negative entities out there, and they do exist on different planes of existence, different densities, right? So some of them can manifest and look like demons, but not all of them are bad. And again, they do come from other regions of space. Here's an article that I found on the Conservative Tribune that was talking about this alien intrusion documentary. And here's a very poignant, very crucial thing I need to make note to you guys. And it says here, despite what is depicted in popular science fiction film franchises like Star Wars and Star Trek, traveling at warp speed would require almost incomprehensible amounts of energy. And I want you guys to see this. Incomprehensible amounts of energy and impossible navigational challenges with space's many obstacles. Impact with even the smallest particles traveling at such high velocities would destroy spacecraft. This is missing so much information, and that's exactly why this deception is getting such a hold, because a lot of people don't have these other pieces of the puzzle, this information in their consciousness, so they get swept up by bullshit like this. Here's the thing. Secret space program craft, I want to say UFOs, both man-made secret space program and extraterrestrial craft, they don't travel at warp speed like these movies. They don't, they portal, they dematerialize and rematerialize, right? They do have incomprehensible amounts of energy because they literally suck energy out of the vacuum with the energy drives on the craft, with the free energy devices or 0-point energy devices on the craft, allows them to make the amazing amounts of energy. If you look into John Searle, for instance, he created a counter-rotating electromagnetic device that had both energy creation and propulsion mixed in. If you look into Otis Carr, for instance, he was a protege of Nikola Tesla. I mentioned him in my anti-gravity video. Otis Carr created a craft that had, again, both time warping and space warping capabilities mixed in, and it had a incomprehensible energy creation ability. So this is just, they're putting out disinformation to try to make this deception, right? This agenda legitimate, but it's not. It's the deception, right? So that's just some points that I need to make note on that. It says here, Bates amasses an impressive array of scientists and experts with differing worldviews who all agree that we're not dealing with ET flying here in faster-than-light ships from a galaxy far, far away. Yeah, we are, right? I don't know where the logic lies in that. How could we be the only species on this little planet here? There's obviously going to be more species on planets far, far away. And yeah, they're dealing with faster-than-light ships because they dematerialize and rematerialize. Their ships literally are able to use that ability of non-locality, right? All points in space and time are connected. They use that non-locality of, and portal. Wow. Not only do the ET craft do that, but the man-made craft do that too. I don't think the TR-3B can do that, but damn, the TR-3B can fly fast, right? So yeah, it's just a lot of misinformation in here. What if aliens aren't visiting Earth? Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. What the heck? I don't know. Anyway, there'll be more on that later. And last thing I want to leave you guys with is this right here. So speaking, this is an interview from James Gilliland where he talked with Dane Wigington. Dane Wigington is the head of geoengineeringwatch.org. It's a great interview that just came out a couple days ago. I'm going to post a link to this down below because the topic of geoengineering is just huge to educate yourselves about. So it's a great discussion that I'd advise you to listen to. And speaking of the all aliens are demons shtick, James Gilliland is a great resource who talks about the Bible and ancient scripture and the deeper nature of it and how it actually doesn't contradict the ET reality, but it ties right into it. So Jesus, for instance, was a reincarnated soul that came from somewhere who is here to lift us up, to raise our vibration, to assist humanity, right? So it goes hand in hand. So you can look into James Gilliland. He actually talks about how the Bible talks about aliens. If you look at ancient art has there's plenty of depictions of beings coming from different places of the galaxy to here to help them, to assist them. It's pretty obvious if you look into it. So anyway, just want to share this with you guys. Just wanted to say all those things and appreciate it. This is a long one, 40 minutes, but thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening to me. Get that off my chest. And sorry about these trolls that seem to love inserting themselves into my feeds. I'll be getting on the whole mod thing quick. I need some moderators for these videos. Again, thank you. Thank you all. I'm not any more special than you. If you want to go and make some amazing change in this world, you can do it. Promote your message. Nothing wrong with that. Just don't promote your message above anybody else. So we're not none of us are on a hierarchy above anybody else. Wasn't that what Jesus was telling us? He came here not for us to think he was the savior. He came here to tell all of us that we are our own saviors. He was just very tapped into the field, per se. He was just trying to get all of us to do the same damn thing. So understand that. You're the one who's going to save you. You're the one that you've been waiting for. Don't wait for anybody else to save you. Love all you guys. Take care.